Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter, and I'm here talking about prospecting, talking about you and your prospects. And the question I want to ask you is this: does your lead even qualify as a valuable prospect? Let me walk you through a number of items that I've written down that you need to be asking yourself as to whether or not, and it comes from my online programs. The Sales Hunter University has been named as one of the top 10 programs. I really do encourage you to check it out. Got a new program out there really on how to keep that pipeline full. So let's walk through. Number one, does it match your ICP, your ideal customer profile? You know, I talk about this a lot, but it's amazing that I see so many salespeople, they have leads, they have what they think are prospects, but they don't even come close to matching up who they're really qualified to work with, who they can really help really achieve the outcome that they historically have been able to help others achieve. Why are they wasting time with them? You want to make sure that it matches your ICP. Here's the next one. What leads us to believe that they could become a client? I mean, think about this. You've got this lead, you've got this what you think is a prospect. What leads us to believe? You know, what have you heard? What have you seen? What are you observing? And that takes me to the third one, which is, what are we basing this belief on? Is this just a random hunch? Or is this actual facts that we've been able to hear from them? Or is this actual facts that we've been able to glean from their business or from what's going on in their industry? In other words, if we can't really understand how we can help them, why are we wasting time on them? Next one is, what is the need, the challenge, the opportunity, the problem they've identified for us? You see, again, if they're not willing to share with us what the issues are that they're dealing with, again, do they really want us to help them? Or are they just looking for us to give them information? See, if they're not willing to be forthcoming in terms of really helping us understand what's the challenge, the need, the opportunity, the problem, then no need for us to be spending time with them. Next one, what's the process they use to make decisions? You see, you know, think about this for a moment. What's the process? It is the process that, well, they think about it a lot, but they never get around to doing it? Or do they actually have a process? And again, how do we know this? What do we know about it? Now, again, some of this we're not going to find out till we're deep down in the funnel. But if you can't begin to gain some interest, gain some knowledge, because the last thing you want to do is be spending time with this prospect who you think is a great prospect, and you find out that they're in a long-term contract with some other company, and they can't break that. Now you've wasted all this time. You see, then the other question you has to ask yourself is, you know, what are the next steps the prospect has agreed to? Have they agreed to next steps? See, again, I see people who are really engaged, really interested. But again, all they're doing is they're looking for us to give them information. If they haven't shared or they haven't agreed to next steps, in other words, it's audience participation time. You know, they got to get involved with us. And if they're not willing to, then I'm really questioning, is this a really highly qualified prospect? Or is this just a lead? Maybe just a lead, maybe just a suspect. Next one, what are our next steps? What are the next steps that we're really gearing on? Do we know what those next steps are? You see, if it matches up with our ICP and we know all their needs, we know all their pieces and so forth, then we're going to really understand what our next steps are. And it's going to be very clear. What you don't have time is you don't have time to chase just wild opportunities out there. No. Successful prospecting, successful sales is about staying focused. So you got to understand, what are our next steps? And the last one here is, what do we see as a potential solution? And what are we basing it on? In other words, okay, we understand all this information about them through the previous questions I've kind of laid out here. And now, what do we see as a potential solution? Can we begin to really understand what that potential solution is? And what are we basing it on? What's the fact, not hunch, not, well, you know, if I could land this deal, I would make my number that I'm going to miss so big. No. You have to be able to base it on something concrete, something that the customers led you to believe. What I've shared with you is I've just shared with you a number of different ways in terms of really helping us understand as to whether or not this lead qualifies as a valuable prospect. You see, I want you to be focused on valuable prospects. That's the whole purpose of what I do. That's the whole purpose of the Sales Hunter University, and I want you to check it out. I want you to check out all the programs we have there because they're geared for one thing, to help you be more successful. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Great selling.